as I continue to go through my hip hop CDs, we're going to look at Mobb Deep, Starr, and some friends like MLP and Bumpy Knuckles. So Mobb Deep are one of my favorite East Coast hip hop groups, and they're from Queens, New York, consisting of Havoc and Prodigy. Both of them rap, but Prodigy is kind of known as the more lyrically gifted rapper. And Havoc, besides being, to me, just as good a rapper in his own right, also handles all the production work. So this is the third full-length album, Hell on Earth. This has the Tupac diss, Drop a Gem on him, classic opener, Animal Instinct. The thing I like about Mobb Deep is that it just has a one-tone feeling throughout the entire album, but it totally works, doesn't get old. I've listened to this album a million times. 4.5 out of 5. 1996 on Loud. It's the next album, though, Murda Music, where I think Mobb Deep reached their peak. I think a lot of people would say that. You have Streets Raise Me, legendary opener. Quiet Storm, one of the most legendary hip hop songs ever. It's Mine, featuring Nas. And my personal favorite that I don't hear people talk about is Where You From. It features 8 Ball from 8 Ball and MJG, and 8 Ball has 2 verses in it, and both times he just totally rips it. It's one of my favorite 8 Ball moments. He's one of my favorite rappers, and that's one of my favorite songs on here. Very underrated. So the following album is 2001, Infamy. This album is definitely a little bit of a step down, but I give it a 4 out of 5. I don't think Mobb Deep ever put anything bad out. After this, it wouldn't be quite at the same level. Hey Love was a hit on here. They had the Jay-Z diss, Crawlin'. And before I forget, many years ago, I'd say 15 years ago, Prodigy released a book, an autobiography. I think it was called My Life. And who knows like what's true and what's not, but it was a very entertaining book. And when I find that wherever I stack that somewhere, I'm going to read that one again. It's a lot of fun. And Prodigy has unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. He always had health issues, and he died very young. This is called Free Agents, and this is, well, it says the Murda mixtape, but this is a compilation of unreleased Mobb Deep songs. This was put out independently on Koch Entertainment, 2003. And at the end, there's a bunch of freestyles tacked on. Don't care so much about that, but the main body of the album, I think it plays like a Mobb Deep album. I think it's really good. I give that a 4 out of 5. So Prodigy, HNIC, the solo album by Prodigy. This is probably my favorite album in the Mobb Deep family tree. I think I like it even better than Murda Music. Murda Music has more standout songs, but this one, just as a beginning to end hip hop album, it's just a personal favorite of mine. It was just a certain summer where I just listen to this thing a million times, and it just becomes ingrained in you. This was 2000 on Loud. Mobb Deep will put out several more releases, but I don't have those. Okay, next up, we're going to go with Gang Starr. So Gang Starr are a group that consists of Guru on the mic, and he was from Boston. And then you have DJ Premier on the beats, and he was from Houston, but I guess they connected in Brooklyn, New York, and that's where they based their career out of. So I don't have the early Gangstar albums, but I did come on board with this one, 1998, Moment of Truth. The first time I heard this was just some kids in high school blasting number 10, The Militia, and it caught my ear. Kind of never forgot it. Gangstar have always been kind of a cool group to be into. I just never hear anyone talk bad about them. It's almost like you're not allowed to. Similar to Prodigy, Guru has unfortunately also passed away, so both of these classic duos are no more. Mobb Deep and Gangstar. The following album, this is The Owners. What was this one? 2003. Got Snoop on here, Fat Joe and MOP. That's actually a pretty good one. Who Got Guns with Fat Joe and MOP. This one was definitely a step down from Moment of Truth, but another good Gangstar album. So I do not have the early albums, but I do have this one. This is called Full Clip, A Decade of Gangstar. And this is all the old stuff. Not all of it, but the greatest hits of the first on 2 discs of the early stuff. So I think that's a good thing to have in my collection. I forget what else they put out. I know Guru put out a couple solo albums. I'm not too up to date on Gangstar, really. So MOP was a rap group from Brooklyn, and they had a lot of association with DJ Premier. And they had a couple albums before this, but this was their big breakthrough, Annie Up. That is for sure their biggest hit. I remember back in high school, people were really into that song. And it's funny, total coincidence, I was digging out these hip hop CDs, and I took my son to watch the brand new Ninja Turtles movie yesterday, and they were playing Annie Up several times throughout the movie. Cold as Ice, that was another big hit. I always heard on a number of occasions people referring to MOP as like the death metal of rap. I wouldn't go that far. They're definitely hardcore. They definitely have aggressive, growly, deep voices or whatever. But again, I wouldn't go that far. But definitely a great hardcore rap group from New York. And this was definitely their commercial high point. And finally, I find that Bumpy Knuckles reminds me of MOP, and I think MOP actually performs on here. But this is Bumpy Knuckles, otherwise known as Freddy the Fox. Industry Shakedown. He was a rapper from Long Island, New York. And this album got a big hype by him really aggressively calling out names in the music industry. Yes, some rappers, but more so industry executives, when I think those people were more public. Like, I suppose the owners of record labels were more often discussed in the press, I thought. And he was just going after a lot of these people really blatantly, and I guess kind of blackballing himself was the idea. Tell him I'm here. You know what? I just came across this one in the garage a couple years ago. I lost it forever. Bumpy Bring It Home, featuring MOP. And actually, Fatal from the Outlaws, his solo album, In the Line of Fire, one of the best songs on there, has Freddie Fox, Bumpy Knuckles on it. That's it. Thanks for watching.